What's up, people? This is our dish. As you can see, this looks absolutely stunning. If you want to see how we got this rounded up, please stay tuned. Alright, welcome back to Trying to Cook. There's my reflection. But as you can see, it is a extremely beautiful day where I'm at. I hope it is for you guys as well. You guys are having a good day. For today, we have beef bulgogi that we're going to be attempting to replicate from this YouTuber right here. I'm not going to try to pronounce that because I already know I'm going to butcher it. Yes, I do have it printed out because I'm super old. Not too old though, but anyway. So like I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and cook this up. I don't know about any of you guys, but Korean food is delicious. I actually did not find that out until I moved to where I live at the moment. But yeah, I scoured all of my Asian food markets in my area. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton. Just demographically for me, I don't have a whole lot of selection, unfortunately. I was able to get everything minus the Maesilic? It's the Korean green plum extract. I did look it up, and apparently that's supposed to add some type of sweetening flavor to the whole thing. So I did attempt to, like I said, find it. I went to 3 different Asian markets, and it was just nowhere to be found for me, unfortunately. Didn't want to really wait for it to come online, just because I have been craving this for the longest time. But let's get to it. Like I mentioned, I have no idea what I'm doing with this as usual. So I don't see a reason why I would be adding or diverting from the given recipe that she has right here. But I am extremely excited. Like I've mentioned, I have been craving this, and Korean food is not cheap whatsoever. So hoping and praying that this works out. If anything, beef bulgogi is definitely the mainstay for a lot of people. That's usually a dish that you'll be familiar with. But also the chicken bulgogi is actually my favorite. This is more of a, I guess you would say, amateur, something that you can kind of try before you get to the chicken bulgogi. But yeah, enough talking. Here we go. Alright, so starting off, obviously the big part of the recipe is the meat. So right here we have chuck steak. In her recipe, she does actually list a few other alternatives. I think it was also ribeye and skirt steak as well. This is just kind of what was available to me. But yeah, get started. And as I just mentioned in the introduction, which I know was super long, I do apologize. I just came back from one of my local Asian markets. So mirin is one of the one of the ingredients in the recipe. We also have sesame seeds. Of course, this is going to be a garnish for the dish. And then you also have light soy sauce. I'm assuming this is light soy sauce. It does say less sodium, so I'm going to assume it's the same thing. Could be totally wrong though. I wouldn't put it past myself. But yeah, I already have these 3 out since I actually just came back from the market. So cooking oil, I'm just going to go ahead and leave this off to the side, obviously, because that's going to be needed for the concoction. I just realized I say concoction probably more than anyone else. A large onion, also some garlic, of course. Here also some green onions or scallions if you are super fancy. She also had a super fancy and cute mixing bowl. I don't have that at the moment, so we're gonna go ahead and use this one. And of course, our trusty plastic cutting board. And obviously a knife as well, because unfortunately for my steak, I could not find any that were pre-cut. I don't know if she bought those like that, but I did notice in the video that hers were actually already arranged. And this is everything that we have for our beef bulgogi. Realize I actually do kind of pause and put ums a lot, so I do apologize if that's annoying, because I know for me it actually is. But god damn it, just did it again. But anyway, doing our lineup really quickly. So for our green onions, of course, or scallions, like I mentioned, if you are super fancy, we have 3 green onions, 3/4 from the bottom, cut into halves and lengthwise, then cut into 2-inch long pieces. That will make sense in a little bit. For the garlic, we have 5 to 6 garlic cloves chopped. For our large onion, this is also going to be sliced and divided in half. Sesame oil, of course. Let me see what that was. For the sesame oil, oh my goodness, 1 tablespoon. I apologize, I'm beginning to become proficient in reading, I promise. Our sugar, we have 2 tablespoons of that. Our mirin, 2 tablespoons of that as well. For our sesame seeds, 1 tablespoon plus additional for garnish. Our soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of this Kikkoman soy sauce, and then we also have our light soy sauce as well, which I'm realizing is actually not even on this recipe. So we'll go ahead and say goodbye to her until the next one. But of course, we also have our chuck steak right here, which we will be chopping and kind of sectioning them off. The recipe does say 1 pound, and this is, I believe, 1.03, so we're right on the money. And then of course we have our chopping board and our knife. All right, so first off, we're gonna go ahead and grab our chuck steak, throw it onto the cutting board right here, and section it off. And one last thing, just because I want to be doubly sure that I'm able to do this correctly, I'm going to get a measuring spoon, just so that we can accurately say that I am putting the correct measurements into our, I'm not going to say concoction again, but into our mix. Alright, so that is our chuck steak, sliced into thin bits. Really hope it still is going to look at least somewhat close to what she has. Obviously, it's not going to be nearly as pretty as what she was able to put together. But yeah, definitely I might have to go to another grocery store or something, because that was a pain in the butt to slice all of this up, especially attempting to do it thinly. Did take a bit of time. I think that probably took me maybe 6 or 7 minutes to do. I'm talking too much. On to the next one. Next up, we have 1 large onion cut into half and sliced. That is our large onion cut up. I don't know about you guys, but my eyes are watery. Next up, we have 5 to 6 garlic cloves chopped. Alright, next we're going to chop off the little roots right here on the end. Then she has it cut up into 3 different pieces, going up, and then the green ends are going to be pretty much diced as a garnish. So these are all of our chopped dishes. We have the garlic on top of the onion right here. We of course have the chuck steak and the green onions on the side. We're going to go ahead and get our sauces situated. I had to re-pronunciate that. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now we have 2 tablespoons of mirin. Two tablespoons of sugar. One tablespoon of sesame oil. Then we have 1/5 of a tablespoon of pepper. 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. Then we're going to, of course, mix this together. Since we're keeping with the theme, I'm gonna go ahead and use some chopsticks to go ahead and do that. We're then gonna go ahead and take our thinly sliced chuck steak and put it into our mixture and marinate well. And I did forget to mention that, of course, we are going to be cooking some rice to go with it. I mean, pretty much a given, right? I'm not sure what else you'd be eating this with. It'd be, I'm sure, tasty to eat by itself, but of course, this will complete the meal. Alright, so luckily I caught it beforehand, but we do need to actually add in our garlic and then half of the onions, and then add that to our marinade. The marinade calls for about 30 minutes, or you can also overnight it as well. I'm already hungry, so we're going to be eating this today. I'm going to set this aside in the refrigerator for half an hour. Oh my goodness, and the green onions too. Fourth glove. Alright, so I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited. It has been 29 minutes. I cannot wait one more minute more. We're going to go ahead and throw in our marinade into our pot for 7 to 9 minutes. We're going to be adding in a tablespoon and a half of cooking oil and then swirling to coat. Don't know if you can see that, but we got some dragon's breath going on in the pan. If you saw the last video, you know exactly what that means. I'm going to go ahead and slide this in, making sure to point away from myself, not towards myself, because that has been something I've been doing pretty much my entire life. Going in. Ooh, that's good for a second. Alright, so that is probably one of the nicest things I've thrown into a pan. Hopefully it tastes just as good. I'm also going to take some pointers from my last video and make sure that I don't have you guys hovering directly over the sizzle. I realized that you guys probably could hear little to anything that I was saying. And when I say you guys, I mean probably just myself at this point that's been watching my videos. Like I said, I do this for my own enjoyment though. If I do happen to have a subscriber down the line at some point, that would be awesome. Just have someone else kind of follow my journey. But yeah, like I mentioned, she is suggesting 7 to 9 minutes until fully cooked. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we follow that to a T. I'm going to give this a chance to heat up while we are just finishing up our bulgogi in the wok right here. Alright, so I believe it is time. All of that, well, most of the moisture that was on the bottom of the pan is pretty much soaked up right now. So we're going to go ahead and throw in our remaining onions into our cast iron and then place this beautiful, delicious piece on top. Whew. And that is it, you guys, aka myself. So we have the onions on the bottom, the bulgogi right in the middle. We have our spring onions chopped on top with our sesame seed sprinkles along the top here. This was absolutely delicious. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the burner so you guys can hear what I'm saying. Alright, so it's actually the next day. I was actually so excited to eat that I just busted down without even bothering to record anything to finish up the video. But yeah, it was actually really, really good. it was slightly overcooked. I think my problem was that I let all of those juices on the bottom get absorbed. I'm not sure if that might have been a contributing factor to it. It could also just be me, which would not be surprising whatsoever. But yeah, overall it was extremely tasty. I'm still surprised that that came out of, you're so cute, that actually came out of something that I created. So yeah, follow directions and apparently things will taste better than burnt. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. It was a little tough, but the onions especially were delicious. They were pretty much restaurant quality. So big shout out to Sion. She definitely knows what she's doing. But yeah, it is the morning, so I apologize if I have morning voice. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of round out that video. Definitely another recipe that I will be giving another shot to, possibly in the future, just kind of redo once I'm a little bit more on point. But yep, I thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe if you like. If you would want to see more of my videos in the future, I'm sure, like I've said in the past, that it's only up from here. But yeah, this was another episode of Trying to Cook. We'll see you guys in the next one. See ya. Okay, I promise this is the end of the video. I just wanted to show you guys, I got these 2 things of sunflowers the other day. And I don't know about you, but sunflowers, they just look really creepy when they're not blossomed. These have luckily begun to bloom. But one thing that was interesting that the clerk actually told me is that sunflowers, they actually will direct themselves toward sunlight, and if there is no sunlight, they'll actually face each other. So luckily they do have a bit of light coming through. But yeah, I just wanted to end on that note. Slowly becoming, well, not becoming, but I've had a green thumb lately. Hey girl, hey. But yeah, I just wanted to end with these, like I mentioned. They're looking super beautiful. See you guys in the next video.